Hello! Today we are looking in what's in this box, and I was interested to see this little thing, Unbounded Amazing Vagary. Vagary is an interesting word. It tends to mean an unexpected and inexplicable change in the situation. Maybe they're changing things up. Anyway, in this is a soldering station, but how it comes in the box is you get some instructions, and then you get all these bits and pieces all wrapped up. So before we start, I'm gonna unwrap this. I'll show you what you get and then we can put it together and go from there. Okay, I've unwrapped stuff and this is what we've got. Going from the bottom, we've got this very heavy metal base where the arms screw in. You've got holders here for like XT 90s, 60s, 30s, T-piece. You've got little bits here to put, it says female and male, and then it's got the millimeter stuff. The connectors, I'm not sure, or whatever, we'll sort of figure that out as we go. We also had this thing for keeping your soldering iron in, which is only good with the sort of traditional ones, not so good if you've got like a TS100. And then we've got 5 of these normal arms, which are obviously flexible, which is the cool thing. I also noticed as well that these tips aren't metal. Well, they are metal, but they're already covered with some sort of, well, essentially it looks like a heat shrink, which is pretty good because sometimes like metal can really dig into things a little bit too much and hurt it. We've also got, on the 6th one, we've got this little USB fan. Not sure if the idea of this is it sucks away the solder fumes or it blows away the solder fumes. Find out when I plug it in. So let's put all that together and then we can have a bit of a close-up and see how it looks. So here we are with the helping hands all sort of set up, and it's kind of tricky to find the right angle here. I'm kind of filming sort of down along to it, but basically I'm sort of having to go in close to show you. But that's probably a better angle, isn't it? But I haven't got the camera angle to do that. Anyway, in order to set these up, it's really easy. There's these little thumb screws here. It's just like literally half a twist, and the arm will come out. So you can position those, well, I say you can position them anywhere you want. Obviously, you can put as many arms on if you want. So if you're like, I don't want 6 arms, I only want 2 or 4, just take some out. Flexibility-wise, really quite nice. These are sort of plasticky things, but they will flex to just about any shape. So it's really easy if you're sort of working on one thing, just to move arms out the way to get these things in where you want to. These are nice and soft. They're not going to bite into things because they're covered with that plastic, as I said. You can go all the way down. These ends twist to any angle you want, so it's really nice and easy to keep what you want in the right place. So for example, if I was doing something like this, I might get rid of those arms and say, let's have this here like so, and then I can easily get in there and know that's going to be nice and tight and not move. This is what I was using previously, and I know many people would have. It's a bit harder to hold because these things don't go to the right dimensions if you want to hold something in like 2 clips. That's the problem. If I'm just holding a piece of wire, of course that's fine. When I want to hold a flight controller and I have to try and get that into that space, that can be a bit more difficult. This is where this is very nice. And of course this thing is so large and it can span so much area that if I literally want to put a whole quad in there, I can do so, and that whole quad's nice and safe, and I can, without having me to go down to the quad, I can kind of lift the quad up and I can spin it around very easily, which is all nice. I have to say it's not often that I need to put a whole quad in there, but perhaps I'll think of it a bit more. Usually in terms of like multiple things, I will just, if I'm doing like, just did like 4 motors and I just put 4 motors in, so I had easy access to all the wires at the same time, for example. So the other thing it's got, and you'll notice I've shoved a couple in here. Let me just take away these arms so it's easy to see. We've got holes down here with little numbers written on them. These are for doing bullet connectors, and it's a little bit confusing because as far as I was concerned, this is a 4mm bullet connector, but the male is written as 3.7, which I'm sure is the actual measurement, and the female is a 4.3. And the idea is you can push those in. Here's some 5mm ones, and they will stay in place, and then you can, because what generally happens with this one is you have to put a lot of heat in, so it's kind of the fact that you can get this in the right place to hold your wire, get that wire in place, get a load of heat on that soldering iron, and get that joint done. I mean, I don't think I use bullets an awful lot these days, but nice to have. Similarly, on the other side, you have got things for connectors, like here's XT60, male, female, here's XT30. What you've also got in there, you can just see, are these little grub screws. The idea here is if you go in with an XT60 like this one, you can then just tighten that up, and that is then stuck in place, so it's not going to move as you're working on it. As said, you've got this thing for holding an iron. This is more of a traditional iron. It doesn't particularly work on my one. Obviously you can take it out if you don't need it there. And the other thing to talk about is this thing here, the fan. Now when I solder, I actually use a sort of large desktop fan just to blow away all the fumes from me. This comes with an arm with a fan on it, and I've just turned it on now, and you can hear or not hear, it's quite silent. The fan blows up this way, and I'm not sure if the idea is you're going to put it there and you're trying to blow any solder away, or you're going to put it somewhere and it's going to try and suck the solder fumes away. It's not particularly powerful. It's not something I like, but you know, you don't have to have it there. You can just unclip it if you want to. I also noticed these arms seem quite a standard size, and the connector as well, so you can replace these if you want to. I've seen ones with other things on, like lights, which might be of interest. Obviously there's the fan there, which I didn't like particularly, but there's other bits to go. You've also got these little things. Now these are undefined. I'm guessing the idea is they're just things to put things. So if you've got like screws or whatever as you're undoing things, or things that you're going to solder on, or bits of wire, shove them in there for safekeeping. And that is about all I can tell you about it. Now I used this to build up this little guy, which a review of may have already come up, or this one may have come first, I don't know. I did a bit of filming to show that. One of the things I can't show particularly very well is an angle of this one, but what I basically did, I used, as I mentioned, I put the motor wires in all 4 of these, and then I could just go with my soldering iron and do every single motor wire at once. I could then do the ESC board in the middle and solder everything on, and put everything together that way. So mostly I just needed 4 arms, so I could just sort of get 2 out of the way where I didn't need them. But yeah, it was handy. It was much better than trying to use my helping hands. It's obviously a bit bigger, one thing you should note, but you know, it breaks down if I need to, so it's quite a handy tool. I like the versatility of these. I like the fact you can move them into any position, and if there's something you really want to hold in tightly, it's easy. And obviously, as I mentioned before, it's all about me getting in a position where essentially I want to be like this, where I can see here with holding my solder here. I don't want to do anything different. I don't want to be like round the back and trying to get in there. Obviously with this I can turn around, or I can just change the angle of these so I can hold things in the right way. That's what I'm trying to do, and this seems to let me do it. So take a quick look of what I've tried to film yesterday. Well, here I am just ready to solder something. I've got the helping hands out, and at the moment I'm using it to hold lots of things. I've got 4 motors here, so 3 wires in each, and an XT30. I've got this little fan running, but I've got this fan just over here that I always use when I'm soldering, so the sort of nasty air gets pushed away. Obviously got my magnification glasses on, which I often do. I'll try and zoom in into here, see if you can see anything. I'm probably going to block it, but that's just the way it is. I haven't got a very good angle for filming soldering, so let's try and see. Woo, look at me go, aren't I quick? Yeah, I speeded this up because else it's really boring to watch, but it just gives a flavour. I kind of like this because if I'm having to take something out of the helping hand and put another one in, it means I have to stop what I'm doing, I have to get new solder going and everything. If you've just got sort of all the wires lined up, you can get through it really quickly, and it's really nice. So I'm just tinning up the ESC board here, and I just need to connect it with 2 of the clips. I can just push the others out of the way, and I'm ready to go there. Of course, this is a completely blocked angle, you can't see a damn thing. And when I've done that side, I just flip it over and quickly do the other side as well. And finally, what I'm doing is soldering on my XT30 and my motors to that ASC board, and I'm using my other soldering iron here with the bigger, thicker tip, thanks to the people that suggested I could get some better tips for the TS100 that might help with this. Basically, I found that the sort of the large pad area, trying to heat that up and get the thick wire onto it, it just wasn't generating enough heat on the TS100. But I will order that new tip and give it a try. But yeah, the motors went on absolutely fine and everything looked good. So yeah, here's something I find really useful for me, but I think it's fair to say your mileage may vary depending on how you do things. See, I see people on YouTube and they've got a soldering iron in one hand, in the other they've got some solder and they've got a wire or a control board, and they're just doing this quite happily. Me, I have to have things locked in place. I need my special magnifying goggles, I need my light, and I need to be in just the right place to do it. Else my eyesight and the way I have to work means I just can't do it. So yes, something like this is fantastic for me, but at the same time, if you can literally just hold something in your hands and just do this, then you know you don't need it. But yeah, I find this really good. I mean, there's things I don't need. I don't need this holder thing, so I can just take that out. I'm not sure how much use I'll make of like this bullet connector thing. I guess it's nice to have. And I don't know how often I'll need 6 legs, but I can always take 2 of them out if I don't want them in the way. I can do other things with them. Didn't find this fan very useful, but you know, again, I can take it out. Overall though, the helping hands thing, having the 6 legs that can hold things in a position that I want perfectly and just lets me get in there right, so I'm comfortable soldering, is a winner for me. If you're in the same boat as me, if you find that you're struggling to get things in the right position, perhaps you're struggling with these sort of old style helping hand things, then this sort of thing is well worth a look. I think it's quite reasonably priced. They used to be a lot more expensive. This seems quite reasonable, and I like the fact it's all very flexible. So yeah. Anyway, this has been the Your UAV Top Hand 6-arm soldering station, kindly supplied for review by Banggood, so thanks to Banggood. And of course there'll be links down below for where you can find this if you want to check it out further. Hope that's been helpful, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now. Well, you've made it to the end of the video, so thanks once again for watching. If you like what you saw, then please consider subscribing, and if you really like what you saw, then be sure to check out the link to my blog for a variety of ways in which you can help support this channel.